Greetings, folks. Nice to see you today. My name is Dustin Cormier. Welcome to another episode of How to Rock Astrology. It's a pleasure to have you here. Today we're going to be talking about what it's like when you have the Sun in Pisces and Mars in Leo. If you want to know a little bit more about me, visit my website, dustincormier.net. I wonder if you guys can see what I'm looking at here. Yes. dustincormier.net. You can check out my book full of poetry and erotica and psychedelic stuff. And you can, this is a glimpse of my chart, just so you can see the personality who is giving you this information. Just so you can be more objective about the subject giving you this data. Me. Anyway, thanks for coming, folks. Most of this video is going to come from my own discussion of what I think of the Sun in Pisces with Mars and Leo. It's going to come from my own Vedic sense of the fact that, you know, Mars is the general, the strategizer for the Sun. Mars does what it does for the sake of the Sun and what inspires the Sun. What keeps the Sun constantly moving towards its own advancement of its nature, of itself and its nature and what it wants to manifest. A lot of my knowledge comes from Vedic astrology. I'm rooted in Western astrology. I'm trying in this series to show what the West is missing in the Vedic sense, in particular. But anybody watching this, it's a Vedic astrology sense, as well as Western. So both camps can enjoy. So... Oh, and then, yeah, at the end, we're going to talk about the bedroom nature from erotic astrology, the bedroom nature of Sun in Pisces, Mars and Leo. So, what is it like to have Sun in Pisces, Mars and Leo? With regard to Mars and Leo, if you'd like to know more about Mars and Leo, check out the first video in the series where we talked strictly about Mars and Leo. Mars is close to its debilitation point. That's kind of the big ringer that we can say about this placement. What's that all about? Well, what Mars is trying to do is to cultivate a consistent sense of inspiration. The Sun is the long sense of inspiration. If you got a strong Sun, then no matter what's going on in your life, you've got a picture of yourself that is rooted in the self sense. And this is when the Sun's closer to Aries. The Sun is like the king of the chart. And what the Sun wants to do, Mars is the general who organizes the energy field, who organizes everything in life, who manipulates others, not manipulates, but pushes others in relationships, in reality, to express the potentials of the Sun. So Mars, at its best, is consistent. It knows how to keep itself inspired, knows how to effectively use the energy field, the vital energies, the physical energies, to get what the Sun wants. Here, this is kind of like with Mars and Leo. You have somebody who knows how to make a big impression, an explosive impression, really blow a hole in the wall, at least with one big spike, but they're not as deeply, consistently penetrating in terms of their own relationship to action and to effort and results. They can get big results when it comes to these little objectives that they have, but they won't be consistent. It'll be hard for them to be reliable, shall we say, unless they are really getting their ego petted. And these people these people are most energized and vital and efficient when somebody's petting the kitty and saying good job and oh, I admire you so much. And they use this like capacity to gain this admiration, to make a big impression, to get what the Sun in Pisces wants. the thing about it is that, like, this Mars being close to Cancer, it's like emotional, like I said, and it's so passionate, and it only feels good when it can be really passionate about something at a recreational level, like it's really enjoying whatever it's dealing with. That's when it's at its best, which is cool when it's good, but if this person is not feeling inspired, they're going to be like, oh, why bother even being inspired when this thing doesn't inspire me? It's such a bore, you know? So that's the only problem with this Mars in Leo. It's close to debilitation, but Mars is in Leo. Leo's a fire sign, which is relevant to the fiery nature of Mars. It's good by dignity. The sun is a good friend to Mars. So it does at least learn how to use Mars effectively in the things it does. It's just hard to keep it consistent. Now, Sun in Pisces. Here we have a sun whose objectives, whose goals, are in good keeping with the goals and desires of the Mars. The general and the king kind of jive to the same tune here, because the sun, Mars, and Jupiter are all best friends. The sun here, for you Westerners, we know that Pisces is seen to be ruled by Neptune mostly, but in the ancient sense, I don't know if I said that right, but I'm going to reiterate. Yeah, Neptune. The Westerners know that Neptune rules Pisces, or that's the derivation that the Western astrology gives. Anciently, Jupiter ruled Pisces before we could see that there was Neptune. And I believe, especially as a Vedic astrologer, that still stands strong. Hopefully you should digest for your own sake what that means as a Westerner, if you are a Westerner, because Jupiter has very, very, very much to do with the basic ground of everything that is Pisces. Pisces enjoys, in a mystical way, learning what it, in its self nature, in its joy nature, can attract to it. Can attract wealth and emotional wealth, and it's buoyant. Pisces is like buoyant, believe it or not, even though they can be very seeming mute and quiet. What's going on inside their imaginations can be deeply wonderful and rich, and even intelligent and discerning regarding the nature of spirit, soul matters, mysticism, and what fires them up. So here we have someone with Sun in Pisces. The Sun is using Jupiter to expand its sense of self. It's, in a deep inner experience. This is someone who likes to contemplate, who likes to be alone, to isolate themselves, to serve quietly in a dignified way, in order to gain a sense of how one can keep oneself happy internally through using the tricks of the human psyche to have a deep, passionate affection for whatever they experience. This is an interesting thing because the Mars in Leo here is using... This is a very human-wise person. Somebody who knows what human soul... kind of groovy and bouncy, and probably might be an artistic person, a soulful person. The Mars in Leo uses an almost domineering thing, which is not the usual case for Pisces. It doesn't necessarily want to be domineering, but there's a lot of masculine energy here, despite that Pisces is a water sign. Mars in Leo uses domineering tendencies, confident, aggressive, willful, noble tendencies to get what it wants, to fixate on the things that it wants. Whether it's a lover, whether it's a job, whether it's a relationship with a friend, with family, what have you. This person likes to feel like they have the mental prowess and the competitive spirit to draw useful relationships for what Pisces wants. That being self-bliss, self-knowledge, knowledge of others, knowledge of art, knowledge of very human things that keeps everybody inspired. This is a person who Pisces loves inspiration for themselves and loves to delegate it to others however they can. And Mars in Leo here really, really writes it on the wall in explosive ways. This can be a party person who's a party animal, who is dedicated to their lovers. This can be a poet, person who just loves to use Mars's, loves to get into a poetic, playful, romantic sense of anything that it does. This Pisces, the frustrating thing about Mars, again, in Leo, is that it only really brings its most inspired self out when the person is enjoying what they're dealing with. And they can have a playfulness in whatever that they are dealing with. Since the sun is so close to Aries here, which is where the sun is exalted, Mars in Leo loses a lot of energy, and it's easy to get off its inspiration. But the sun in Pisces keeps drawing this person. When they experience suffering, when the Mars in Leo is bored and they're frustrated because whatever they're dealing with in their reality is not exactly fitting to their most expressive and powerful excision of their will, the sun in Pisces will probably still have a way of keeping, they'll probably be attached to an organization that's still spinning. They'll be attached to groups of people. They'll be serving people. And people will love the things that this person does. And that gives them an inspiration and a vitality that's kind of there no matter how down in the dumps they are, or no matter whether or not anybody loves them for what they do. The sun in Pisces will keep it going, but they're at their best when people are congratulating them and petting the kitty and saying, great job. I digress. It's a cool combination, and in a sexy sense, the imaginative Mars and Pisces, the imaginative sun in Pisces probably wants to enrich someone else's life, wants to help them with their psychology, helps them see the bliss in life, and they'll do it in a poetic way. They'll take the person by the hand and spend like leonine fixated amounts of energy and effort in taking them out. This person will probably love the luxury of going on dates, on a lovely dinner, and taking them out and making a deep impression in the other person's psyche that life is worth living. Even when this person will spend a lot of shotgun energy on that effort, and their partner will be buzzing with the memory of that beautiful date or that beautiful thing in their minds. And then the Pisces person goes out and is like, wow, that was a lot of shotgun shell energy, like I'll keep texting them and I'll keep it warm, but like I just spent a lot of money on this. Now I got to go to work and get more money so I can do another shotgun shell thing for my lover or whatever, right? It's the funny, spotty shotgun nature of this person. But the sun in Pisces knows how to glue it all together on the in-betweens, in between the shotgun shell hits. If that makes sense. They probably will enjoy a secure relationship with somebody. That's what they'll probably want. Because the Jupiter wants to be able to expand deeply through like a person who they become familiar with. And the Mars in Leo is like that too. So that was a long go on my own personal rendition of this. Let's read what Phyllis Vega says about Sun in Pisces, Mars in Leo. You radiate a magical seduction that draws love and romance into your life. It's the Pisces is sort of quiet, kind of like cutesy, and even like kind of transgendery. Sometimes they're noble, but sometimes they're also deeply listening. And the Mars in Leo behind it is like intense and ardent, and they'll bite their lip because they're so into whatever they fall their eyes on. And someone can see this person who's conservative almost and refined, with the refined aesthetic sensibilities, but the Mars in Leo is behind it, and people might not see it in their actions, but when you go up to this person, because of that Mars in Leo, you can feel their ardor, their passionate desire to devote themselves to something. Fiercely loyal, intense, and sensitive. You pour yourself, heart and soul, into an intimate union. Your idealistic attitude toward romance leads you to expect a lot of give and take in the bedroom. And you're as sensitive to your lover's needs as you are to your own. It's the Pisces is sensitive to theirs, and the Mars and Leo is like, hey, I know what I'm good for too, and I know what I need. You're an innovative and creative bedmate, particularly with a partner who makes you feel loved and admired. Again, it's the Mars in Leo that's what brings out the best in any Mars in Leo is someone else's admiration for how they are, for how cool they are, for how unconsciously hot they are, right? But nevertheless, unless you experience the intensity of true love and a deeper sentimental connection, you won't feel emotionally or physically satisfied. The Mars in Leo has a lot of bone juice to give to somebody, but it's the Jupiter that wants to expand it, that wants to feel like any experience is magnified by the spirit of an aesthetic harmony, of an unconscious true love, soul bond, and all these things. That's what this Pisces really wants. And the Leo, even as well, is also sentimental like this and romantic and wants. The Leo, Mars in Leo, wants to feel energized about squeezing all of this ardor and intention and attention into one person, and for them to get totally zapped by it, for the other person to just feel, oh gosh, that was so much. Yeah, I know it was, baby. That's like Mars and Leo. And the Pisces in here is going to be very dear about it, very sweet about it. I hope you guys dug that. I'm Dustin Cormier for How to Rock Astrology. That was Sun in Pisces, Mars and Leo. I hope you guys are enjoying this series. Let me know in the comments what you think about it, and check me out on my next video. Thanks a lot for watching.